thought we'd start off, I could ask you about your background and your professional development, how you got into this field in the first place.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Welcome, everybody. It's my great honor to be here to talk about what's the latest and greatest technology. I'm the technologist. In fact, I always consider I'm a scientist, a researcher. So I actually had my PhD, but before PhD, I actually started, the first AI class I took is in the 84 actually. And then, so it's very early day, and I think today, if I show you what I learned, it's completely different than what people learn about today in AI. And I think people probably realize that AI has at least 63 years old history, because in 1956, Professor John McCarthy at Stanford called a Dartmouth workshop. And in that workshop, they defined not only the term AI, so people call John McCarthy the father of AI, and then also define sort of the problem space, also the roadmap of the AI. And then during this time, there are also two famous AI winter. I actually encountered both AI winter. After the college, I came to US to study my PhD at the Carnegie Mellon. Exactly, I want to study AI because I think the AI is so fascinating. How can I not study AI? But once I get my PhD in 1992, that's really the end of the first AI winter. And also in conjunction with the first Gulf War, so that's really an economic downturn. At that time, we don't even dare to say we study AI, because you say you study AI, you won't have a job. I say I'm doing speech recognition. But today, so it's very ironic. Today, people don't do AI, say they are doing AI. So I think go figure is really how popular AI is. But seriously, I think we really need to thank the academic, all this open collaboration of research, and particularly the people in the academia, not in the company, I mean in the university. I think this year, the Turing Award, which is the Nobel Prize for Computer Science, given to these three professors, Professor Jeffrey Hinton, Yann LeCun, and Yasha Benjo. And then those people, they actually keep their heads down, continue doing development even through this so-called AI winter. And today, the deep learning, so-called deep learning, the AI really works and help not just really the scientific area, also the industry, to be able to do this so amazing thing. People even worry about AI will take over the world. I think but really the useful thing AI can do, we really need to thank all the academic people and contribute this in the last 60 plus years, so all of us can enjoy the benefit of this technology.
I definitely want to get deeper into these subjects, but it sounds like you had a childhood somewhat different than mine. How did you discover that you were interested in AI in the first place?
Yeah, I think I'm always a sort of STEM person. Right? I like to science, technology, engineering, and math. I think even though it's not the whole thing, I think I always like to learn math and all this stuff. And then I'm very fortunate. I mean, I picked my undergraduate major is EE, which is a field very closely related to computer science. And later on, I went to Carnegie Mellon to study my computer science PhD. And the AI is a natural area really most associated with computer science and the EE. And then the human intelligence, people always have a soft spot for intelligence. I think so I think the AI, no matter where any given time in the history, it always attract a lot of interest. Right? I mean, whether it's useful, it's a different thing. I mean, so I think to me, it's very naturally to study in AI. And I think, although I never imagined in my lifetime, I can see the flourishness of the AI be so popular and doing so many good things.
Okay. Maybe we can put up the first poll question. And while people are answering that, we can, if you could explain to us a bit, how does Microsoft research fit into the broader world of Microsoft? How does your operation in Asia fit into what Microsoft does with all the software and the people in Redmond?
Yeah, I guess the answer is very simple. I mean, you look at the all advancement in the scientific world. Always people heard about that description. you're sitting on the shoulder of giant, you can look further. So all the scientific discovery, particularly fundamental technology, fundamental science, it's open collaborative. And then you publish, and people build the work on top of yours. And you will build also, in turn, you build work on top of other stuff. So when Microsoft started researching in 1991, again, it's a great foresight for our founder, Bill Gates, and knowing how important, even for a commercial company like Microsoft, when we are 1991, we are a very tiny company, very small company. We barely crossed the 1 billion revenue line. And then we know how important to participate in this open, collaborative, by default, definitely global. And I think nowadays, not only you doing open publication, you also publish it today even open source code. And then so I think we can advance. And then so this is probably a good leeway for me to describe the latest technology, the advance, which really get me excited on a day-to-day basis. I think that even with all the popularity and all the hype about AI, we continue to make a great progress. I mean, this year, I just want to name 3 examples. I mean, the first one is really very recent. Last week, we announced we actually built the first computer mahjong. Okay, so to actually reach the grandmaster level, 10 duan and above. And today, there are less than 30 people who are in the whole world, plus this computer program, the only one, which will be ranked at the grandmaster level. And mahjong, why mahjong is so significant? Number one, it is the most fun game. I think for people who play, will probably will agree with me. Okay, and then there are 3 characteristics making it jump out. And people know about, of course, people know about Go, Alpha Zero. But mahjong has 3 distinct the characteristics. It's even more interesting, more harder than Go. Number one, in terms of the combination of the space you need to search, it's on par with Go. But number 2, the mahjong has incomplete, we call incomplete information or imperfect information. In the Go, every move you make, every move your opponent make, you all know. It's all known to everyone. Mahjong, you don't see other people's car. You don't see the car actually be covered. So that's incomplete theory make it, the combination make the search space much, much bigger. And the other one is the complicated strategy. So people play mahjong know, you play a round, 8 圈, and then each round probably at least 4 games. So at least 32 games. Your goal is not trying to win every game. As a matter of fact, your goal is not trying to win as many games as possible. Your goal is after a round, you are stay on top. So there's something we call whole game strategy. So you can imagine if you are ahead after 7 rounds, then you want to be conservative. You don't want to fang pao. And then if you actually are behind after 7th round, you want to be aggressive. You want to win big, right? Even though the chance is small. So because of these 3 characteristics, we actually develop individual technology. The first one is the sampling. Instead of searching the whole space, which is impossible, you do Monte Carlo-like sampling to actually learn the space. And the second one is, since there's incomplete information, we need the oracle in the training phase. Basically, is thinking about this oracle, know everybody's car, and also the car cover. But that's only in training. In the real playing, you don't need this oracle. Otherwise, you are cheating. And then the last one is this complicated strategy we call it whole game strategy, which is much more complicated than the game like Go. And then I think so we are very happy to announce we reached the grandmaster level. And then I also believe mahjong, the technology which in mahjong has probably more real-world application than Go. Because in the real world, the most interesting problem, like should Microsoft acquire, a few years ago, should we acquire LinkedIn? How much price we should pay? And this year we acquire GitHub. Again, how much price you need to pay? And then there's incomplete information because other company might actually bid against you, and the company can also put the poison pill. So those are incomplete information. And so I think we believe actually the mahjong has more real world the application. So that's the first one. Second one is the natural language understanding. And I think people know the personal assistant in Microsoft we call Cortana, and then Siri and the Google Assistant. Those are really kind of question and answer. But I think those are really straightforward. But a lot of question and answer, particularly in so-called reading comprehension. You read a paragraph, you need to answer some question. That you need to do deduction. Sometimes you do reasoning. You touch really the deep semantic area. So those kind of things which you can be very useful. And this year in the natural language area, there's always a dream how we can actually, today's AI, mostly you need a lot of supervised data, label data. We call them supervised learning. And there's a new technology called pre-training. We can use almost unlimited, unsupervised, unlabeled data to train a pre-trained model. Then you only need a little bit of the labeled, supervised domain data, and you can do fine-tuning. And based on this technology, right now, it's really not just Microsoft. I mean, every company, every university trying to raise to use this technology. In Microsoft alone, we use this to improve our search, Bing search, and also the question answering, machine translation. So it's has a great application. And then the last example I want to make, so please show the deck. So on the image, so I'm sure people know about image recognition, okay? But something which happen is that if you put it in a generation mode, something called GAN, generative adversary network, you can actually doing a lot of creation or something like a creativity. So now the computer, you probably do the report, can make very interesting points, lyrics, melody, and also painting. And then one application I like a lot called style transfer. We often shoot some picture, but we want to put some artistic effect. So sometimes we even go to the printer shop to actually print out the nice artistic sort of picture and hanging on the wall. And here just some example, and we even publish it as an app, so people can do these things very easily. So next. And then I want to show this is because very soon I will talk about, I mean, people already talk a lot about deep fake, right? Those technology can be used to do some bad thing. But actually, really not surprisingly, the same technology you can use to protect the privacy. People like to post the video and image of their family, all this stuff. If you can put artistic effect, now we can do this not only very nicely, also in real time. You will agree with me. You actually would not actually recognize the identity of the kids playing in that place. Next. And this is a video in our Microsoft flagship product called Microsoft Teams or Skype. When you take a meeting, you don't want people to see what's going on behind you, right? So we call background blurring. I think many people think now regard this as the most the feature in Teams. So now people don't need to see what's happening behind you, right? So I think that's also a good example of using this technology to preserve the privacy. And now, I know you guys will ask me, so I prepare here. Deep fake. So I just show you 6 people's portrait. I want you to guess which 3 are real, which 3 are fake. Okay, now next. I think you will be. I think some of the results will surprise you. Will surprise you, right? I mean, there are 3 real, 3 fake. Now let's go to next. Actually, human's eye or human's ear are actually quite easy to be fooled. I think the early example I just showed you. So we actually do some experiment. We take some real image and mix with deepfake generated by 3 popular open source deepfake program. People worry about deepfake is because now so easy for average person to go to the internet to either use the app or use the open source code can generate the very realistic the fake image and the video. And then I hope you see we actually also using the deep learning technology by building a classifier to trying to given any picture, we can be very accurate. More than 99.5% of time, we can tell the real away from the fake one, and much better than human performance. So I think I actually be a little bit more optimistic. We actually do have a technology mean to help us on this kind of tough problem.
So the numbers that we're looking at here, this is Microsoft's technology in discerning what's actually a real image and what is a fake image.
Yes.
So you're able to use that to
Yes.
increase the recognition rate with deepfakes.
Yes,
Like that.
and we actually we do plan to publish it as open source code, put in there, build in an app so people can actually have easy access to help them. Anytime they have any doubt, they can use this too.
Okay. I want to get into the applications of that also, but I did want to ask you about, we're speaking at a time of rising tensions between China and the US in particular, and of course, your organization is built on this collaboration between Beijing and your American company in the US. The reason I asked the poll question is I wanted to find out how people thought about international cooperation, and tell us how is the trade tension affecting collaboration in AI broadly?
Well, I think I'm not expert on this on the business side. I'm not on the technology side. And earlier I mentioned how important this open collaborative research for the whole mankind. I mean, and then also today you look at the not just open collaborative, but also the movement of open source. I think that's really how technology becomes so popular for everyone to benefit. And I think and I guess instead of talking about people, I know people a lot of time talking about competition, right? In the world, of course, there are competition. Even university are compete with university in ranking and everything. But don't forget, there's a lot of collaboration. And I think people, I think the bigger question is like this we call techlash, the backlash on technology. I mean, I think the technology can do a lot of good things. I mean, I just make an example. The same technology can be used to protect privacy, but same technology can also be used by malicious means like this deepfake. And then I think it's important. That's yet another gray area for everyone in the world to actually work together, because I think no company can work alone. And I think we need the people on the public sector side, government, policymaker, economics, sociology, or even the anthropology people. I mean, to really want to like talk about what's the right use of technology, what's the right regulation, policy, what's the moral, social standard. And I see great opportunity for the whole world to work together on this. I think Europe published the GDPR, and I think last year. But very soon, that conversation happening in every corner of the world. And I think not to mention people now travel, and there must be European live here, use the product. So I think Microsoft quickly adopt the GDPR, make it a global standard. This is just a good example. And I think there are a whole lot of things we can do together.
Okay. There is this interesting debate about how AI will be used in the future, whether it will be used for bad or for good. When you look years into the future and you see the utopian possibilities or the dystopian possibilities, what are you most excited about in the positive scenario, and what are you most worried about in the negative scenario?
Good. I think even though there's a lot of hype surrounding and excitement, sometimes too exciting become hype, surrounding the technology and AI, but something really happened in the industry we actually, in Microsoft, in the industry, we call digital transformation. Using the data, computing, and AI to really advance the product and service and operation, everything in the industry. This is really happening. Also why Microsoft now enjoy very good business, because we are actually a true platform provider to actually provide the technology and platform to help companies to do a digital transformation. And I just want to name a few examples what we see, a very exciting one in the Asia Pacific area we engage. So on the investment front, so we actually in China we work with the AMC, asset management company, is one of the biggest mutual fund company. The other company is China Taiping Insurance Company, and then the investment organization. And using the AI combined with the human intelligence, we actually help them to do the investment product by doing the star picking and also the sector picking rotation. And then I think in both cases, now it's already deployed. And I think indeed, and actually we can actually beat the asset category, those things without the AI technology. And I think so that's really the first one. And second one is in the logistics. Earlier I talked about the mahjong. So in the logistics, with one project we work with the Hong Kong Orient oversee the cargo, the liner, help them to deal with the empty container issue. Basically, when you actually ship something from A to B, and when they offload the shipment, the container become empty. Now, you have a dilemma, whether you continue to keep the empty container in the same port, or you ship to a different port, or sometimes they even destroy it because they don't know whether they will get the new order. So now this is really like almost like a game. Each port compete with each other. Each one want the more empty container, even though there's a cost associated with it, so they can really fulfill the future order. So we actually use this deep reinforced learning to help them. Within just a little bit more than 6 months, we actually be able to help them to save tens of millions of dollars. And now we're trying to expand this to even bigger network. So that's all. And then if we can do that for the ocean liner, I think even for other logistics, land logistics like Federal Express type of land logistics, or the aircraft, the air logistics, this can actually apply the same thing. And then the other thing is the education, something we all feel very passionate about, which is we actually build a bot. In Asia Pacific, a lot of us, we don't speak English as our first language. So we work with the Pearson, who has a Norman English dictionary or Norman English teaching material. So teach the people whose first language are not English. And then we build a bot associated with each content. So this bot, when you are not with your teacher or tutor, they can help, they can actually doing conversation with you. Also give you a live assessment of your pronunciation, use of a word. Even though it's not 100% correct, but certainly we can help you to learn most of this accurately. And also recall where you struggle, so that next time you meet with your teacher and the tutor, you too will be focused on this area. So I think we already have finished the pilot in China. Very soon we're going to expand this to an entire Asia Pacific. So I think it's very exciting engagement. So I think those just a few examples I think that we feel very proud of. And then those are really the exciting thing, very positive thing happening in the industry.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. I think we'll have to leave it there. Okay. Thank you all. Please, a big round of applause.